The station had been quiet for so long that even the air recyclers seemed to hum out of habit rather than necessity, like they were unsure anyone was still around to appreciate the effort. He sat alone in the observation chamber, staring at a sky that refused to behave like a proper sky. Stars here didn't twinkle. They pulsed, dimmed, rearranged themselves as if someone out there was editing reality mid-sentence and forgetting to save. He tapped the console once, then twice. "If this is another dream transmission," he muttered, "I would appreciate something with a beginning, middle, and preferably fewer existential crises." The console, as usual, did not respond. It had developed a personality over the years, passive-aggressive silence. Then it happened anyway. Not a sound, not a signal. A shift. Like the moment before falling asleep when your thoughts stop being yours and start becoming something else entirely. The room stretched not physically but perceptually, like space itself was politely making room for a guest. He blinked. "Okay, that's new, or I'm finally losing it, 50-50. She stood there, not entering, not appearing. Just being there, as though she had always occupied that exact spot and reality had only just remembered to include her. Her form was almost human, which was somehow worse than not being human at all. Familiar but slightly misaligned, like a reflection that had decided to improvise. He straightened, instinctively smoothing his shirt as if first contact required good posture. "Right. Hello. I assume you're not here to fix the coffee machine." She didn't move, didn't blink. That alone was unsettling. He'd grown attached to blinking. It was reassuring. "Okay," he continued, nodding to himself. "We're doing the silent thing. I can work with silent. I've had entire relationships like that." The moment stretched, and then it shifted again. Not outside, inside. Something brushed against his thoughts, not invasive, not aggressive, just present. Like someone had opened a door in his mind without knocking, then paused in the doorway, waiting to be acknowledged. He froze. "All right, so we're skipping introductions and going straight to psychic trespassing." Bold choice. Images flickered behind his eyes. Not quite images. Fragments. A horizon that curved the wrong way. A sky filled with slow-moving structures that might have been alive. A sensation of time folding over itself like fabric. He exhaled sharply. "Okay, I did not sign a consent form for this level of weird." The connection deepened. He felt her awareness, not as a voice but as a presence that understood before he finished thinking. Calm, immense, patient in a way that suggested it had never once been in a hurry ever. And that's when his brain betrayed him. It wasn't deliberate. It wasn't even coherent. Just a stray thought, the kind that slips out when you're overwhelmed and your mind reaches for something human, something grounding. "I could have loved someone like you," it echoed, not outward, everywhere. He stiffened. "Nope. No, that was," he raised a hand as if he could physically grab the thought and pull it back. "That was internal, private, extremely private. I'm going to need you to forget that immediately." She moved. Not much. Just enough to turn her head toward him, those layered eyes focusing with an intensity that made his stomach drop. There was no confusion in her expression. No hesitation. Understanding settled between them like gravity. And then, for the first time, she responded. Not with words, with certainty. "Yes." The station lights flickered. He stared at her. "I'm sorry," he said slowly, "but I feel like we just skipped several very important steps in whatever this is." His pulse thudded in his ears, except it didn't feel entirely like his pulse anymore. There was a second rhythm beneath it. Steady, ancient, patient. He swallowed. "I didn't mean that as a proposal." The presence in his mind didn't retreat. If anything, it settled deeper, like a decision had been made. Somewhere far beyond the station, a star dimmed for a fraction of a second. He let out a shaky breath. "I'm going to need a manual, or at least a refund." She watched him, and this time she almost smiled. He didn't sleep so much as fall sideways into someone else's memories. At least, that's how it felt. One moment he was lying on the narrow station bunk, staring at the ceiling and questioning every life decision that had led him to accidentally propose marriage to a cosmic entity. The next, he was standing in an ocean that wasn't water, watching waves made of something like light fold in on themselves. "Okay," he said, looking down at his feet, which were definitely there, and also definitely not interacting with anything in a way physics would approve of. "This is either a dream, a hallucination, or I've officially been promoted to a problem." The ocean responded by remembering him. That was the only way he could describe it. The surface rippled not outward but inward, like it was reorganizing itself around the idea of him. He took a careful step back. "Right, personal space. Let's establish that early." A presence formed beside him. Not arriving, just existing like she always had. He glanced sideways. "You know, most first dates involve less existential fluid." She didn't react to the joke, but something shifted. A flicker of understanding, delayed but deliberate, like humor had to pass through several layers of translation before reaching her. He sighed. "I'm hilarious. You'll catch up." The ocean dimmed, not dramatically, just enough to make him notice. He frowned. "Did I say something wrong, or is the universe just very sensitive right now?" A thought brushed against his mind again, clearer this time. Not words, but intention. "This is memory." He blinked. "Whose memory?" The answer wasn't given. It unfolded. Time stretched, no, collapsed around him. The ocean receded into something else, something vast and impossible. Structures rose in the distance, spiraling upward in shapes that hurt to look at too directly, like his brain was politely asking him not to insist. He felt it then, her, not just beside him, through him, not intrusive, not forceful, just there. Like his thoughts had gained a second voice that wasn't trying to override him, just coexist. He inhaled sharply. "Okay, that's new. I'm not sure how I feel about shared mental real estate." A pause, then, gently, her presence adjusted. It was subtle, but he felt it. Like someone stepping back half a pace after realizing they'd been standing too close. He exhaled. "Thanks, that helps a little." Silence settled again, but it wasn't empty anymore. He turned slowly, taking in the shifting horizon. "So this is your world." "Not world." The response came with a quiet certainty that didn't belong to language. "Continuity." He tilted his head. "That's not comforting." The structures pulsed faintly, as if reacting to the conversation. Or maybe they always did that and he was just now noticing. Hard to tell anymore. He rubbed his face. "All right. Let's review. I accidentally made a legally binding emotional statement you accepted, and now I'm touring your continuity. This is fine. This is completely manageable." Something flickered again, not in the environment but in her. Curiosity. He caught it, felt it ripple through him before he could stop it. It wasn't like human curiosity. It didn't wonder, it examined. And then, a memory that wasn't his. A room, small, warm. A younger version of himself sitting cross-legged on the floor, arguing with someone he couldn't quite see. Laughter. Embarrassment. The sharp, familiar weight of being misunderstood and pretending it didn't matter. He jerked back. "Hey, nope. That one's mine." The memory lingered anyway. Not stolen, shared. He swallowed. "You're looking at me now." Yes, the answer settled in his chest like it belonged there. He paced once, agitated. "Okay, we need boundaries. I don't just walk into your ancient cosmic memories and start commenting on your childhood. So I'd appreciate." Another flicker. This time it wasn't hers. It was him. Or rather, something becoming not entirely him. His heartbeat stuttered, then steadied, but not alone. He froze. "There are two of them." No response. He pressed a hand against his chest, feeling it. One rhythm familiar, the other older, slower, unbothered by things like urgency. He let out a quiet, incredulous laugh. "Great. I've upgraded to dual-core existence. Do I get extra processing speed with that, or just existential dread?" A pause, then. A faint echo of something that might have been amusement. Late. Slightly misplaced, but there he blinked. Was that a laugh? She didn't answer, but the structures in the distance shifted, just a little. And somewhere far beyond them, something ancient stirred, as if noticing that two minds had begun to speak in a way they were never meant to. He woke up already arguing. "I'm just saying," he muttered, pacing the length of the station corridor, "if reality starts bending, someone should have the decency to label it. A warning sign. Caution, physics may be experiencing emotional turbulence. That's all I ask." The station lights flickered in quiet disagreement, or maybe agreement. It was getting hard to tell. She was there again, not entering, not arriving, just existing slightly to his left, like she had claimed that space as hers, and the universe had shrugged and said, "Sure, why not?" He glanced at her. "You've been very present lately. I don't know if that's a good sign." A pulse moved through his thoughts. Not words, attention, he sighed. "Yes, I'm aware you're paying attention. That's part of the problem." The corridor stretched. Not physically, he checked. Same length, same panels, same mildly concerning stain on the floor that he had decided was better left unexplained. But something about it hesitated. Like the space itself wasn't entirely committed to continuing. He stopped walking. "Did you see that?" A pause then. "Yes," he rubbed his face. "Fantastic. Shared hallucinations. That's always step one before something truly terrible." The air shifted. Not temperature, not pressure, expectation. He felt it ripple through both of them at once, and then something else entered, not her, not him, something observing. He stiffened. "Okay, that's new, that is very new. Please tell me that's not one of your relatives." No answer, which unfortunately was an answer. The presence didn't push in. It didn't invade. It simply noticed them. Like a distant intelligence had turned its attention slightly and in doing so made existence itself a little heavier. He swallowed. "I don't like being noticeable." The station lights dimmed again, this time in a slow, uneven rhythm. His chest tightened. Two heartbeats, still there, still not entirely his. He pressed his palm against the wall. "All right. Let's stay calm. We've handled weird before. This is just aggressively weird." A flicker passed through her. Not fear, recognition, and something else. Warning, he exhaled sharply. Of course it's a warning, it's always a warning. No one ever sends a friendly cosmic memo. The presence shifted. Closer. Not in distance. Distance didn't seem relevant, but in awareness. It was focusing now, narrowing in on the exact point where he and she overlapped. On the bond. His thoughts stuttered. "It knows." The words felt unnecessary the moment he thought them. Of course it knew. That was the problem. A pressure built behind his eyes, not pain, not quite, but something like being measured against a scale he didn't understand. He laughed once, dry and unsteady. "If this is a test, I would like to formally request easier questions." No response instead. The corridor bent, not visually, not entirely, but the end of it seemed undecided. Like it couldn't quite agree on where it should be, he took a slow step back. "All right, that's not comforting, that's really not comforting." Her presence moved closer in his mind again, not physically but with intention. Stronger this time. Protective, he felt it wrap not around his body but around his thoughts, steadying them. He blinked. "You're shielding me." A quiet confirmation. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "Okay, good, great. Love that for us." The pressure eased slightly. Not gone, just redirected. The presence was still there, still watching, but its focus had shifted. From him. To her, something ancient stirred beneath the calm. Not emotion, protocol. He felt it activate through her, through their connection, like a system waking up after a very long sleep. And suddenly, understanding hit him, hard. This isn't just about us, is it? Silence, but not empty silence. The kind that answers without speaking. He paced again, faster now. "No, of course it's not. It's never just about us. That would be too simple." The lights flickered sharply. The corridor snapped back into place. Reality reasserted itself like it had been briefly distracted. But the presence didn't leave. It lingered, watching, waiting. He stopped, staring at nothing. "We're in trouble." A pause, then faintly. That delayed, slightly misplaced echo again. Her version of amusement. He let out a weak laugh. "Oh good, at least one of us is enjoying this." The second heartbeat in his chest didn't change. It didn't speed up, didn't falter. It simply continued, ancient, patient, as if whatever was coming had already happened before. He stopped running, not because there was nowhere left to go, but because the idea of going somewhere had started to feel like a suggestion rather than a rule. The corridor no longer trusted itself to stay straight, and the stars beyond the station had begun to hesitate before shining, like they were waiting for permission. "All right," he said quietly, hands resting at his sides. "I think we've officially reached the point where denial is no longer a viable strategy." She was there with him, closer than ever, not beside him but within the same fragile boundary of thought. He could feel her attention, steady and vast, but now threaded with something new, uncertainty. He gave a small, tired smile. "Don't worry, I'm also new to destroying reality. We can figure it out together." The presence returned. Not slowly this time, not cautiously. It simply was, everywhere. The station lights dimmed, then brightened, then forgot what they were supposed to do entirely. His two heartbeats aligned for a single, impossible moment, and the universe seemed to hold its breath with them. He swallowed. "Okay, that feels important." The pressure built again, but now it was different. Not measuring, not observing, deciding. He felt it through her, through them. The ancient protocol awakening fully, not as a command, but as a conclusion already reached. This bond ends. The certainty of it landed like gravity. He closed his eyes. "Yeah, I figured that was coming." Her presence tightened, not fear, not resistance, but something far more complicated. She did not argue with the protocol. She understood it in a way he never could. But she did not withdraw. He let out a slow breath. "You know where I'm from. When something threatens existence, we usually try talking first. Maybe a strongly worded complaint." No response. The presence pressed closer. Time around him flickered, past, present, something else, blurring into a single unstable moment. He felt himself slipping, not physically, but conceptually, like the idea of him was becoming negotiable. He opened his eyes. "No," he said. The word surprised even him. The pressure paused, not stopped. Paused. He frowned slightly. That worked better than expected." He straightened, grounding himself in the one thing that still felt solid, his own thoughts. Or what was left of them. "You're wrong," he said, not sure if he was speaking aloud or directly into the vast awareness surrounding them. "This isn't a failure, it's just new. And yes, I get it, last time something like this happened, stars exploded, reality rewrote itself. Everyone had a very bad day. I read the room." A faint ripple moved through her, something like attention sharpening. He continued, quieter now, "But we're not them." The presence shifted again, focusing fully. He felt her then more clearly than ever. Not just her memories, not just her thoughts, but her perspective. The way she experienced existence, not as a series of moments, but as a continuous whole. And for the first time, he didn't resist it. He let it in, completely. The station disappeared, not physically, but in importance. The stars, the corridors, the fragile human sense of separation, all of it fell away. There was only connection, not consuming, not erasing, balancing. He exhaled slowly. Oh. Understanding settled, not as a thought, as a state. He laughed softly. "We've been doing it wrong this whole time." The protocol surged again, trying to complete its purpose. End the bond, prevent collapse. But now, something pushed back, not force, not resistance, equilibrium. He reached not with his hands, but with that shared awareness and adjusted. Not breaking the connection, not deepening it, stabilizing it. Her presence aligned with his, not merging entirely, not separating, but existing in a space between. Two, still two. The pressure faltered for the first time. Uncertainty. He grinned, a little breathless. "Yeah, I'm improvising. You should see me fix a coffee machine." The universe hesitated, then settled, not perfectly, not completely, but enough. The presence withdrew, slowly this time, like it was reconsidering something it had never questioned before. The lights steadied. The corridor held. The stars resumed their distant, indifferent glow. He stood there, heart pounding, Just one now, he realized, though the echo of the second remained quieter, deeper. He glanced toward her. "You're still here." A soft confirmation, not overwhelming, not consuming, just present. He let out a long breath and rubbed the back of his neck. "Okay, so we didn't end reality. That's a win. I'm counting that as a win." A pause, then. That delayed, slightly off-timed echo again. Her version of laughter. He smiled. Not because everything was safe, not because everything was understood, but because, for the first time since this began, he wasn't losing himself. He was becoming something else, something that could stand beside her without disappearing. He looked out at the stars, then back at her. "Next time," he said, "I'm keeping my thoughts to myself." A quiet beat, then gently. "No," he laughed, shaking his head. "Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that."